Hey guys, welcome back to Revealing Biblical Truths. In this video, we will be going through the book of Numbers, chapters 19 through 25. Before we get started, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, share, and comment down below, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. In chapter 19, Yah gives the law on the red heifer offering. They were to bring a red heifer that had never done any work with a yoke and without blemish, and slay it before Eleazar, and then he would have to take the blood on his finger and sprinkle the tabernacle 7 times. After that, someone would burn the heifer before Eleazar. In addition, cedar wood, hyssop, and scarlet would be added to it and thrown onto the burn pile. The priest would then wash his clothes and himself, as well as the person who burned the heifer, and they would be unclean until evening. Then someone else would gather up the ashes and bury it outside the camp. Following this, Yah says that anyone who touches a dead body of a man is unclean for 7 days. He would be purified on day 3 with the water, and then on day 7 he would be clean again. If anyone dies in a tent, anyone who was in the tent or comes into it would be unclean for 7 days, and every open vessel, such as a pot, would also be unclean and needs washed. In order to be cleansed, they would take the ashes of the heifer and sprinkle it under running water on the 3rd day. And on the 7th day he washes himself and his clothes, and then he is clean. I find this entire chapter very interesting, and I see a definite double meaning with it as it pertains to Yahusha. First of all, Yahusha was an offering. He was nailed to the cross on a cedar wood, and with hyssop was applied to him when the soldier offered it with vinegar to his lips. He was also clothed with a scarlet robe, just as the law is laid out. His body and blood were offered as the ashes and blood, and also water was poured out when the soldier pierced his side with a spear. These are symbolic of us. When we put on Mashiach, we apply these things, and we are clean in him. In addition, when he arose, it was the 3rd day, and because he wasn't clean until day 7, no one could touch him yet. In chapter 20, they came into the desert of Zin, and Miriam died and was buried. There was no water, and the people grumbled again. So Moshe and Aharon went and prayed, and Yah appeared and told them to take Aharon's rod and speak to the rock in the desert, and it would bring forth water out of the rock for them and their beasts. So Moshe took the rod and gathered the people, but then chastised them for being so rebellious. He then lifted up his hand and hit the rock twice with the rod, and gushed water forth abundantly. But then Yah was upset that he didn't do what he said, and believed him, that Yasharel would not enter the promised land yet, and this place was called Meribah, meaning they strove with him. After this, Moshe sent a messenger to the king of Edom, asked if they could pass through their land, and they promised not to take anything or damage any land or crops. But the Edomites refused to let them go through the land. Then they came to Mount Hor, and Yah said that Aharon would not enter the promised land because of his sin, and he ended up removing his priestly garments and giving them to his son Eleazar, who would then become the next high priest. And with that, Aharon died on Mount Hor. The congregation mourned for him for 30 days. In chapter 21, King Arad of the Canaanites came up against the Israelites, but the Israelites crushed them with Yah's help. When they got to Edom, the people once again murmured against Moshe and complained that they didn't have any food or water. So Yah sent fiery serpents to the people, which bit them, and some died. I find it interesting that in the Hebrew, the word for fiery is Strong's number H8314 and is seraphim, which means flying burning serpent or dragon, but also where we get the seraphim angels, which are burning. The word for serpent is Nahashim, Strong's number H5175, meaning serpent or snake. So these creatures seem like they were flying serpents or dragons that were burning, or could have resembled even the seraphim angels with their 6 wings. Afterward, the people repented, and Moshe prayed for them, and then Yahuwah told Moshe to put a saraf on a banner, or a sign, so that when the people looked at it, they would be healed. But then Moshe made a brass nachash and put it on a banner. Take these 2 Hebrew words, and they are different. He was told to make a saraf, but instead he made a nachash. I'm thinking that the saraf is one of the 4 living creatures before the throne, an actual burning seraphim angel, but instead Moshe made a bronze snake. In any case, the people looked at it and were healed, and this is a prophecy related to Yahusha. Yahusha said in John 3:14 that as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. The parallel here is that when Yahusha was lifted up on the tree, if we look upon him and focus on him, we will also be healed. Following this, they journeyed throughout many cities, and then King Sihon of the Amorites came out to battle Israel, but Israel defeated them. Then they fought against the king Og and the giants in Bashan, and again Israel defeated him and all his sons and people. In chapter 22, the Israelites set up camp in Moab, where Balak was the king of the Moabites. He knew that what they had done to the Amorites and was afraid, so he called Balaam the son of Beor to come and curse them. First, we need a little backstory, as this is crucial to understanding the full context of what is happening here. Balaam was the son of Beor, and Beor was the son of Janus, according to Jasher 84:16. Janus was one of the two magicians that fought against Moshe in Egypt, and those two, Janus and Jambres, were descended from Laban. So they are actually cousins to Yaakov and the Israelites. But ever since Laban, that family has been causing trouble for Yah's people. So Balaam told Balak to wait until he heard from Yah on what to do, but the princes of Moab lodged with him. Yah told him not to curse them, so he sent the princes away. But then Balak sent even more noble princes to him and told him to curse them again. They again lodged with him, and he waited on Yah to tell him what to do. He said to go with them, but only speak what he has told him to speak. So he went, but he sent the angel to stand in the way. His donkey saw the angel and was scared and turned aside, so he hit the donkey. This happened 3 times, and then finally Yah opened the mouth of the donkey, so he spoke and told him what he saw, and then Yah opened Balaam's eyes, and he also saw the angel. He was sorry, and then Yah said to go with them, but only speak what he said to speak. So he ended up blessing Israel, and then Balak was angry. But then Yah told Balaam to tell Balak that he cannot curse them. Balak tried to take him 3 different places to curse them, but each time he could not, because it wasn't what Yah wanted. After that, Balaam told Balak all the times that Israel was blessed and the prophecy of the future, and then they went their separate ways. In chapter 25, Israel again began to intermingle with the daughters of Moab and to honor their false gods and sacrifice to them. Yah was angry and told Moshe to take care of it so that Yah would turn his anger away. So Moshe told the judges to round up all the ones that were doing these things and kill them. One of the Israelites, though, brought a Midianite whore into the middle of the congregation, and when Phineas, who was the grandson of Aharon, saw it, he took a javelin and threw it at her and hit her in the belly, killing her. A total of 24,000 people died before it was over. Another interesting factoid is that Phineas was 3 generations younger than Zimri, who was the one killed. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Shalom.